Thundercats, hello everybody. Happy 40th anniversary. Hey guys, Jay! Welcome back to the channel. As I said earlier, happy 40th anniversary to one of my absolute favorite toys and cartoons of the 1980s, Thundercats, our go. This is absolutely incredible. 40 years of Thundercats, everybody, and what a way to celebrate it. Not only are people receiving their Thundercats Cat's Lair, but Wave 12 of the Thundercats was announced by Super7 officially today, as well as some incredible news for action figures for the new Master Universe Thundercats crossover. I am so excited about this, and I really wanted to cover this with you guys today because this literally blew my mind. And we did a tiny little preview of this yesterday with my good friends JP and Carlos of Thundercats Classics and, of course, the Badass Reviews. You can check out that live stream here. But in the meantime, let's talk about what happened today. Without further ado, let's take a look at what was announced, guys, because this is just absolutely blowing my mind. Let's have a look. So, guys, I did want to mention that the 40th anniversary of the Thundercats has officially launched, and on Super 7, they have finally unveiled the Wave 12 figures, which we sort of already, leaked that out a couple of days ago, but it's awesome to see that these have finally been announced. Obviously, we do have Crusher, Nayda, and Safari Joe, along with Mule. This is freaking amazing, and I will have links for Entertainment Earth if you guys want to pick these guys up. I did want to do a really quick overview on this, just to let you guys know exactly what's going on, because there is a super bonus pack if you order it directly from Super 7. So let's take a look at these really quickly. Clicking on pre-order now, you can see everything that we covered already. This particular set, all three of them, including the bonus pack, are on sale right now for only $185. Now, that does seem a little bit high, but you have to remember that there's actually two deluxe figures in here now. I didn't realize that they were both going to be deluxe, but it makes sense now because obviously Mule is another figure entirely. If we break this down by heading over to Thundercats under Ultimates, scrolling down, we can find the pricing individual figures, including $65 for Ultimates Wave 12 Safari Joe, the regular $55 for Nayda, and the deluxe price $65 for Crusher, which does make a lot of sense. Add all that up, and it should total $185 respectively. The big draw for the head bonus super pack, which consists of 3 new swappable heads for Nayda, Crusher, and Safari Joe. These are some iconic looks, and a lot of people were very confused about what was going on here with Nayda. This is actually a head swap for Mumm-Ra, who actually was disguising himself as Nayda in the Thundercats episode Mask of Gorgon, where the Thundercats were trying to prevent Mumm-Ra from using a Gorgon-type creature, a Medusa if you will, and he was disguised as Nayda to try and achieve that. The other 2 head sculpts are so good, including Crusher, who has this new smirk. You can see his teeth in there. That looks a lot of fun. And of course, the signature laughing head of Safari Joe. And I gotta tell you guys, this is a signature look for Safari Joe. Something like this is definitely signature to the character, and it really is a wonderful incentive to pick it up directly from Super 7. Great strategy here, guys. If you have to have this head pack, it is $185 on super7.com. You can pick it up right now. Additionally, though, I do have links in the description below for the Entertainment Earth pre-order. They're up right now for the exact same price, $55 and $65 respectively. I will have links in the description below where you can pick these up. It does help out the channel, and I really do appreciate it, guys. The 40th anniversary of the Thundercats has kicked off with the Super 7 toy collectibles. Now let's move on to the Mattel side of things, because this was freaking amazing. When the news first broke, good friends of the channel, Badass Reviews, Toy Addicts, of course, Thundercats Classics, we lost our minds taking a look, and I wanted to cover these guys as I am really excited about what's happening with Master Universe and, of course, the crossover with Thundercats. Let's have a look at this, everybody. This was first announced on comicbook.com, MOTU Origins and Thundercats crossover figures announced by Mattel, and it went on to say, Master Universe Origins Thundercats crossover figures to arrive in April of 2025. That's not too long from now, and this article was written by Sean Fallon. It goes on to say, following the launch of their popular Master Universe Origins Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Turtles of Grayskull crossover lineup, Mattel teased that a Thundercats collab was on the way in 2025 during last year's San Diego Comic-Con event. I was there for that, and we literally lost our collective minds. Today, they made good on that promise with the reveal of the first figures of the collection, which are set to hit stores and shelves in April. Holy crap, that's only about 2 months away. The wave will include MOTU mashup figures of Lion-O, Cheetara, along with new characters like Skell-Ra, which is a mashup of Skeletor and Mumm-Ra. and reinterpretation of Battle-Cat as a humanoid Thundercat warrior. Full breakdown of upcoming waves can be found below. This is ridiculous. Of course, my good friends JP and Carlos, we broke this down on a live stream. You guys can check that out. But right now, let's take a closer look at these figures as they appeared, courtesy of comicbooks.com. Let's have a look, everybody. Holy crap, guys. There he is, Mum-Ra the Ever-Living in 5.5-inch scale. Perfect for Master Universe. And this is amazing. As JP and Carlos noted the other day, the standard bucks are not being used here for Master Universe. These new bucks look a little bit slimmer, a little bit more cartoon aesthetic. And I gotta tell you, I'm really loving this new feature for these new body types, especially considering this crossover really is more Thundercats heavy. We can see here Mum-Ra with his signature head sculpt, his wrappings everywhere. His cape seems to be split in two, almost like a pair of wings, and that is advantageous in and of itself. Moving down further, we can see, of course, the insignia on his chest. We can see his sash, very reminiscent of how he looked in the cartoon. And of course, moving down further, we do see his shin guards and the little bit of fur which covers his toes. This is awesome. Very signature to the character. Moving over to the accessories, and this is really where things get really interesting. We can see that everything is actually swappable to create Skell-Ra. We see the Skeletor mantle here with the Havoc Staff horns on the top of his head. We see Skeletor's signature look, but it has really deep set red eyes. That's never been done before with Skeletor, unless you're counting Frank Langella in the movie. We see the Sword of Plundar, which looks absolutely ridiculous, and that new sash, which of course really brings out that Skeletor nature. If you add all of these accessories onto Mum-Ra, you get Skell-Ra, and he looks insane. Look at that wingspan, and I think that's exactly what they were doing. The wings, I believe, rotate so that you can have them featured as either Skell-Ra or Mum-Ra, and that is so much fun. I really have to tip my hat to Carlos, who really pointed out that they're really trying their best to include the original Thundercats in some iteration, and this is just proof positive of that. Flipping over to Skell-Ra, the body color is actually really close in its overall appearance, so it really makes sense. His mantle here looks so great, his hood really fits in well, the replaceable face looks amazing, and of course, those ram horns just add another level of detail. Instead of having a bone cross, he is sporting the signature indica of Mum-Ra with the two facing snakes, very set-like. And I gotta tell you, eagle-eyed Conan fans will recognize this, the symbol of Thulsa Doom, but we're not gonna get into that. I love the little trim of gold on the front of the straps. They look really amazing. And of course, that signature sash, which Skeletor is well known for. It has additional details. We can see the Havoc Staff horns, which are on his belt, as well as the Havoc Staff ram head right on the bottom of the sash here, along with two Skeletor heads. So good. And of course, the feet remain much the same, but that's fine, as this is Skell-Ra, not Skeletor. Moving over to the accessories, we can see how the head of Mum-Ra is removable, the additional sashes, which you can mix and match if you desire. I'm pretty sure you can actually put them on Skell-Ra if you really wanted to. And then, of course, that sash, and you can mix and match depending on what you want to do. Of course, he does have the Sword of Plundar as an accessory if you decide to use it. I do believe that somehow they've incorporated the horns from the Havoc Staff, so that Skeletor wouldn't need to have an additional accessory necessarily. If we look at the pricing for Skell-Ra, he is listed at $29.99, so he is definitely a deluxe figure. So we can expect that this particular deluxe figure is going to be much larger than the rest of the Thundercats. Moving on to Lion-O, Lord of the Thundercats. There are a lot of cool things to be had here, and I just wanted to go over them. First of all, we should check out the overall sculpt for Lion-O. He definitely does look like Lion-O, although JP did mention that the nose is improperly colored. Now, we got to remember that these are early paint masters, and we have seen in the past that paint masters do actually end up looking very different from the final versions. And in most cases, the final version actually ends up looking a lot better, particularly in the case of April O'Neil here, where she has a much softer face compared to this particular final render, which looks a lot better in my opinion. And I think we can definitely expect the same from these paint masters of the Thundercats, which are just too early to really take in as the final versions. It's interesting to note that he has these 3 dots at the top of his head. JP speculated these might be securing points, but I don't think so. I think that these are intentional, and we might actually find out more about that in the mini comics, which would be really cool. The paint apps are actually really well done. I actually do like the way the eyes look. They're a little bit too dark for my liking, and the paint that they chose for the lighter portions of the skin are a little too yellow, as JP had mentioned in our stream. I think a little bit of adjustment, especially considering these are early renders, will probably be in order. Moving down further, we do see the brand new straps, which definitely echo an Eternian style of straps, very much He-Man-like. This looks freaking amazing. I love the huge Thundercat symbol in the middle. And of course, the wonderful colors that they used for the straps, almost metallic in their nature. But under that, we can see Lion-O's traditional tunic. He looks amazing. And it's interesting to see that we have what I believe to be the Lion of Eternia. If you'll recall, the Eternia playset does have this lion as a very big feature in the main tower. And going back to Master Universe Revolution, we can actually see that the Tri-Sorceress, or in this case, the God Sorceress, has a helm, a tiara, if you will, which also echoes this type of design aesthetic. So I believe there's some sort of connection with Preternia, perhaps, and Preternia might be in some sort of danger. Perhaps Mumra is trying to take over using Skeletor to try to reach Preternia. That'll be interesting. Moving down further, we can see that he is sporting a furry loincloth. Don't know if that's going to be replaceable or not, but it does look fun. He also has a single wristlet. Of course, this is very much in style with Eternian fashion. And then moving down further, we do see that he is sporting some Eternian boots. However, it's really interesting, as Carlos did mention, that they really are allowing for the traditional look for the Thundercats, as you can swap out those Eternian boots for Thunderian boots, along with Lion-O's signature belt, which of course signifies him as the Lord of the Thundercats. We also have a brand new claw shield. It's pretty much the same claw shield, but it has more of a streamlined look. And these are early paint masters, so I imagine they might add a little bit of paint detail at the top, as the knuckles do really need a bit more paint, in my opinion. It appears that we can actually swap Lion-O's hair for this new edition, along with this headset, which appears very Eternian in nature, very much like a Captain's Guard helmet, or perhaps something along those lines. And I really like the fact that the hair pieces can come off. As we can see, Lion-O's hair in a Thunderian mode is very wild. It has all these lines coming in. This one's a little bit more subdued, almost like it's got a perm or something. And then, of course, there is the Sword of Omens. Wow, this looks amazing. It's got this metallic paint on it. I really do like the way it looks. And, of course, the Eye of Thundera is fully aroused. Other than that, though, it does have very minimal paint details. But I think that this looks a heck of a lot better than some of the other renditions that we've seen in the past. Lion-O is definitely a very interesting character in this line, and I do like the fact that he is not in the style of the Master Universe traditional buck. This is definitely something a little bit more thin and allows for new figures to be made with this new standard in a figure buck. Moving on to Cheetara. This is an incredible character. I think a lot of people are definitely going to be gunning for this version of Cheetara. As we can see here, she has a wonderful head sculpt, and I think that a lot of us were in agreement that this is one of the best looking versions of Cheetara that's been made so far. I love the paint on the eyes. I love the cheetah stripes, the pattern on the outside of her eyes, the wonderful spots on her hair, and of course her lips. Moving down further, we can see that she's sporting new Eternian armor, but it is completely removable, as we can see here. And underneath that, we can actually see that she is sporting her traditional leotard, and even some of her spots are showing on her shoulder and around her neckline. Her other arm is completely covered, which is interesting. Might be a bit of a detail that they're going to explain later. Moving down further, we can see that the detail on the armor is just top-notch. I love it. She's even sporting a sash, very similar to the way Teela has been portrayed in several different iterations. And on her right arm, she actually has a bracelet of sorts. Not sure if that has any significance. Those Eternian boots, once again. And as with Lion-O, we can swap them out for her Thunderian boots, which is always good. And her staff seems to have new Thunderian etching, which is very interesting. I wonder if she loses her original staff somewhere along the way. She also is sporting a new gauntlet, which can attach to her forearm, which can also have a separate, smaller, reduced staff, very signature to the character. And later on, she will be able to swap out her existing head sculpt with this new, more subdued hairline. And it's interesting to see that there is a symbol of the Eye of Thundera embedded into this tiara. And I really wonder if that is more of an element indicating something along along the storyline, as this actually sort of looks like the hilt of the Sword of Thundera. Fascinating. Of course, the Eye of Thundera makes sense for Cheetara's sixth sense, giving her incredible possibilities for the storyline of Master Universe Thundercats. It's too bad we can't see what they actually look like without their armor, but I think we can pretty much give a good guess as to how they're going to look. The final figure in the line that was announced was one of my absolute favorites. Oh my gosh, guys. It is a humanoid version of Battle-Cat. And I sort of like to think that this is a humanoid version of Cringer, in my opinion. I think that would be freaking amazing. Heading back to the article, this figure is actually named Thundercats Battle-Cat Man. Wow, that is a crazy, crazy name for this figure. But it really does bring to the imagination exactly what we're seeing here. This is a Thundercat Battle-Cat Man. Moving in closer, we can see that wonderful head sculpt. It literally looks to me like Cringer is taking on a more assertive role. He looks freaking ferocious, and he does have those snaggletooths at the bottom, which like so much fun. I do believe the helmet might be removable, which would be awesome, because then we can actually see Cringer as a humanoid cat, which is awesome. His saddle has literally been changed into armor pieces, and they look so good. I love the shoulder pauldrons with the little horns, very much similar to his saddle. We can see that he has a traditional Eternian strap set, but it has that amazing Thundercats symbol right in the front. Moving down further, he's got those incredible gauntlets, which again are very reminiscent of the saddle, and his overall body type looks incredible. And as I said earlier, it doesn't actually match any existing Master Universe style body. So these are all brand new sculpts, and I'm really loving it. Of course, I love the signature gold for Cringer and Battle-Cat, and those wonderful stripes. They really have thought of everything here for these characters. He's got those furry boots, not really full boots, they're just actually furry shin covers, if you will, and that wonderful belt with the furry loincloth. It's just awesome. His weapons are interesting. They seem to be claws, which can attach to his hands, which of course is another nod to the Battle-Cat figure, as these type of claw attachments were introduced in the Master Universe 2000X cartoon. This, of course, is one of my absolute favorites, and really does harken to the original design by Freddie Williams III, who envisioned Battle-Cat Man in the original comic book. The color variations were very different in this iteration, but you can definitely see how this comes about, as this concept has finally been realized in action figure form here with Battle-Cat Man, and I can't wait to add these guys into my collection. The regular figures will be retailing for $19.99, Battle-Cat Man, Cheetara, and Lion-O respectively. So guys, come April, we can start collecting these amazing figures, and I myself am absolutely thrilled that the 40th anniversary of Thundercats is being celebrated in this incredible way. I wanted to give another huge shout out to my good friends JP over at Thundercats Classics and Carlos of the Badass Reviews. Definitely check out our live stream that we did yesterday. It was so much fun, and I really appreciate those guys joining me. Guys, Thundercats 40th anniversary is upon us, and it's being celebrated in style with these brand new crossovers for the Master Universe line of figures. It'll be interesting to see if they actually have a new title, much like the way they created the Turtles of Grayskull line. And of course, Super7 is celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Thundercats with the latest release of their Wave 12 figures, Crusher, Nayda, and Safari Joe, along with the Mule. Thundercats are just exploding on the scene, guys, and this is absolutely crazy. Happy 40th anniversary to Thundercats fans. We have a lot to celebrate and a lot to look forward to in 2025. Oh my god, guys. Honestly, I think many Thundercats fans and Master Universe fans have always wanted and dreamed and wished for an official crossover for the Master Universe and Thundercats, which has already happened in comic book form. So this, bringing the two toy lines together, is just an absolute dream come true. And who knows, it might lead possibly to a cartoon series somewhere along the lines. I think that would be awesome. And I think many of us are also wishing for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles of Grayskull cartoon series, maybe eventually. I don't know, it might be possible, who knows. Maybe Ted Biaselli might have a hand in that, which would be just insane. The price points on these are actually pretty good. Skell-Ra is actually $10 more than the other figures, but I think he's a massive figure and comes with a whole bunch of accessories. So I hope, and this is I'm crossing my fingers here, that maybe Mom Mutt will be there somewhere. I don't know, it's possible. But having seen these guys and the fact that they can interchange between their Thunderian forms and their Master Universe forms, I think that's absolutely genius. Of course, the brand new Battle-Cat Man with his new color scheme, I think he looks awesome, and I'm looking much forward to seeing what's inside of the mini-comic, because that, I think, is going to be huge, and I really do hope, wish, pray, crossing my fingers, that Freddie Williams III is still involved and is going to be doing many of the mini-comics I really hope we can get him back on the channel to actually talk about that once it's announced, because I think this is looking like an amazing opportunity. Guys, let me know in the comment section below. Are you going to be putting down your money for this brand new line of action figures from Master Universe? Are you guys as excited as I am for this brand new line? Or are you sort of not really into this crossover stuff and you just rather keep the two lines separate as Thundercats and Master Universe? Let me know those comments in the comment section below, guys. Holy crap, we literally were pretty much dried out for any sort of news starting in January, but now toy news just keeps going and going and going, and I am super excited about what's happening with Thundercats on their 40th anniversary. As a matter of fact, I did have some weird update with, of course, the shipping of Cat's Lair, and I really do hope that someone will pick up the ball and really take care of that situation. As I talked about it in this video here, and I wasn't happy about talking about that video, but it really is something that we do have to pay attention to. You guys can check out that video. I'll see you guys there. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe. And as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Thundercats! Happy 40th anniversary. Thundercats ho. Good journey. Geek proud, everybody.